Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the first episode of Creative Characters. I'm your storyteller and guide, the Ravnos Archon. And with our inaugural episode, I thought it only prudent that we start with the first game I ever learned how to play. The moment I remember walking into, and this will be a name that I think will jog our guests' memory when I say it out loud, but I remember walking into a little store called Gila Monster and seeing the blue cover of the book with Darth Vader looking straight at me, and Star Wars from West End Games was the first game I ever got to play. I never got into that gateway drug of Dungeons and Dragons. I was a Jedi like my father before me. And unfortunately, the West End had the key to the kingdom, as it were, because they had fantastic IPs that they created games for, like Ghostbusters, Indiana Jones, and even Paranoia, which still is running today. They did unfortunately bet on the wrong horse, and they ended up filing for Chapter 11 and bankruptcy towards the end of 1999. There was a ton of books that came out for Star Wars. There's a ton of books that came out for Indiana Jones and for the Ghostbusters. The Ghostbusters was the first IP that they had control of, and that is the birth of what is known as the D6 system for them, which was based off of a pool of D6s that you total up and determine whether or not you beat a difficulty number based on a scale, I think, of very easy, moderate, difficult, very difficult, and then heroic. It is my pleasure to introduce our first guest to our inaugural episode, who I call Bear. And Bear will be going through character creation for Star Wars from West End Games. Now, Bear, this is also an interview show, so I'm gonna pick your brain. I'm gonna learn a little bit about you as we go through it. So the first question, as it will become, I think, what's it called? Not a standard, but habit. You have never played or run this game before today. Is that correct?
No, I have not, and this is going to be very interesting.
Like I said, it was the first game I ever played. I loved it. I read it cover to cover. But what was the first game that you remember playing on your TTRPG journey? And do you still play it today?
So, because I have two things. One is the first time I've ever experienced D&D as a spectator,
Mm-hmm.
was before I actually started playing a tabletop, and that was. Because the thing is, when I think of tabletop, for whatever reason, the closest thing I think of that I started doing was Hero Quest, but that was more of an actual board game.
Yeah.
But yeah, the first was AD&D. So D&D second edition.
Second edition.
Yeah, and one of my first memories I could think of is being this man. Wow. Okay, so this is like the mid-90s, and I'm just I know. I think about that.
Yeah.
I'm in my parents' living room in the house, and all of a sudden I can hear my brother and his friends yelling at each other. And when I walk into the room there, I see them all set up, they had like a makeshift board made out of like graph paper, and they had figurines that were set up there that were all darkish reddish brown, and you could see it was just drawn, like scribbled all through like a dungeon. And I'm sitting there trying to figure out what they're doing, right? But I'm at an age where I'm just happy to be around older people. So I sat there trying to figure out what they're doing, and as I'm listening to this tale of them just walking through this dungeon and being attacked like viciously by skeletons throughout the journey there, it, like, I don't know what it was. It was just like, wow, make believe with adults. It's like, this is fun. I want to do this now. How do you do this? Do you just talk to each other? Like, I wanted to start asking questions,
Mm-hmm.
but that would have interrupted the game. And then Yeah,
Yeah.
it took me a while. Yeah, it took years before I actually started playing a tabletop RPG.
Okay. So you haven't played Hero Quest or AD&D since you've moved on.
I will say, I've played Hero Quest. I got lucky enough because if
Okay.
anybody knows, Hero Quest is very expensive. Even the remake that they've done now
Yeah.
is still is still like I paid for Gloomhaven and then I look at Hero Quest and it's like Gloomhaven provides so much for the price that they give you,
Yeah.
and you look at Hero Quest and it gives you literal the minimal things you need, and I'm just like, no, no, I'm not gonna do that. But
Yeah.
we had like a meetup where people brought in board games to play, and somebody from the homestead, because we live here in Florida.
Mhm.
A friend of mine from home that was part of a troupe, an improv troupe in Homestead. He brought his like copy, like his actual like game, like Hero Quest, and it was still like in its wrapping, which
Oh,
freaked me out. Like people looked at me with this odd puzzled face, like, why does it look like Kenny's about to cry? And it's because it's like, who's touched this? No one's touched it.
no one's
I'm
touched it.
gonna touch it. I'm gonna touch these
I
things now.
bet you're gonna touch it. Easy, champ.
Yeah. Easy, buddy.
Easy.
Hey, yo.
So before we keep going, I did put a way to kind of find you on the socials. That would be at Mr. Underscore with the underscore in between each word. How'd you come up with that? Where'd you get into that? Like, is it something that you use now for character naming, or is that just like a fluke of the past?
I will say that was my original gamer tag when I was playing on Xbox.
Mm.
Um, and I got Mr. Underscore because an underscore is literally just a behind the scenes. Like you're you're not you're not you're not the main character. You are like if we translated that to theater, it's like I am working lights or sound. I am the prop master, or I am somebody that you don't see. I am like that and whatever, and it just stuck with me, that name. I thought it was interesting for myself, and it was the only thing that stuck with me because I use it now, and then I joke now because people get upset when I say Mr. Underscore with the underscore in between each word,
Hmm.
because that but yeah, I've always gone under at least game wise
Okay.
when I would use that, but in real life people just call me Kenny or Bear.
Yeah.
It works out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've had the distinction of being in several games with me, so you know that I always start off, and that's the reason why I asked you about your handle. I always start off with a character by their name. Like, I like to be introduced to a character, and so that's why I asked about that. But using that as a segue, if that's not the kind of technique that you use for character naming, do you have one at all, or do you just kind of shoot from the hip when it comes to that?
It all depends on really the game itself,
Hmm.
because there for most times, especially in games that you have run as a game master storyteller, that what I do is pick I work on the character first
Hmm.
in the sense of what my idea is, which usually gets sparked by either their species, or I start thinking into their background. For instance, I didn't think of like when we had there was a campaign that you ran that was D&D that I ended up being Togoth, which was this goblin cleric, and the reason why I chose that name was because it sounded very goblin,
Hmm.
and it sounded like you would use that name as a placeholder for like these supported background characters. That's why he ended up becoming like, oh, my name is Togoth, but I have a family of brothers and sisters also named Togoth. I am the fourth one,
Yeah,
right?
I remember.
And yeah, you love that character so much. That was one of the few times that I ever did an actual accent, if you could call that an
I,
accent.
I
So
mean, it was there were attempts when the temple was made. Yeah, sure.
tempo was made.
Yeah.
But yeah, and that's usually the way it goes. Like with 7C,
Hmm.
you know, Avestan is based off of Norse mythology or based off of Norse lore. So, uh, that's why I went with that's why I went with Freki because it comes from the actual name Unbound. Yeah, I guess for the most part, it's really because what the character. I base the name off of the character itself, then the character. Yeah, base the name off of the character. Yeah, there you go. Whatever. Yes,
Yeah.
that thing.
Okay. So now that we've got a little bit about you, let's get into the actual Star Wars portion of this.
Sure.
What is the earliest memory you have of Star Wars as you turn to page 211 to look at the alien species that you have available to you?
211. So,
Yeah.
the earliest
211 on the actual
was
book, not the PDF.
got you. So, the first instance is watching. First instance was watching on VHS, Last Hope,
Mm.
and watching that. Oh, sorry, New Hope. Forgive me.
New Hope.
Yeah, watching that, I was in like early teens. I was still in middle school, and my parents. Remember, I'm an '80s kid, so my parents at that time, they were like, "Hey, you can watch."
Mm-hmm.
Like kids, it's crazy how children nowadays. I realize they like young kids that are 10 or younger don't watch Harry Potter, the Harry Potter series because it scares them. And I'm just like thinking, man, I watched RoboCop when I
Mm-hmm.
was like 11, so I
RoboCop
was
and
just like,
Jaws fucked me up.
like yeah, like crazy stuff,
Mm-hmm.
like Weekend at Bernie's. I did not, as a kid, understand that the guy was dead. I just like, oh, he passed out the entire movie,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. But yeah, it was a New Hope. My parents wanted to watch it with their friends, and that was just we were there with as a family.
Mm-hmm.
That was the first time.
Okay. Nice. What alien calls out to you, do you think? Are you one of these people that plays humans, or do you want to branch out?
I mean, the thing
Because you
is
said you
that
played a goblin, so you're not like a vanilla.
no, I mean, I don't think I've ever played a campaign. For sure, I've never played. If I had a choice between another species than human
Mhm.
in any campaign that we've done with you, I've always chosen something that's not human.
Yeah.
So, um, I've noticed that halflings, like small creatures, are usually what I would go for.
Yeah.
And so my thought process was like immediately when you were like, "Oh, we're gonna make a character," I was like, "Oh, Ewoks. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I will. I will be." But Wookiees was actually
Wookiees
something
are
that I
in
think.
the core book. Ewoks are in the core
Yeah.
book as well, but I love the the small selection of like if they had a prominent role in the movies, they were like thrown into this book, like the Ewoks, the Gamorreans from Jabba's palace, the pig guards, the
Yeah.
Ithorians, which nobody knows what the fucking Ithorian is until you see that picture of the fucking sand shark, the fucking
Yeah.
hammerhead, the Moncal. Obviously, it's a trap. Rhodians because of Greedo, who did not shoot first. Celestins, who just appeared for like 5 seconds and sat next to Billy D. Williams for Return of the Jedi. The Twi'leks that we got to see with Bib Fortuna and the dancing girl, and then yes, the chapter ends with Wookiees. Good old Chewbacca.
I mean, it's not just Chewbacca, but yes, that's what I would go with. I mean, looking at these, I was thinking of a Grand Calamari, but I'm not. I'm not gonna. You know. Eh, I yeah. I'll keep with Wookiees for sure.
You gonna do a Wookiee?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there you go. There you go. So you'll
Okay.
notice looking at the at the alien species little blurb, that top thing that we see is that Wookiees get 12 attribute dice. Most races, most of the alien species are going to start with 12. They tried really hard to balance everybody out to 12. There's a couple that don't, but they're really, really powerful, and they're not meant for players to play.
Okay.
So the first thing that I think you should do is set all of your 6 attributes. You've got dexterity, knowledge, mechanical, perception, strength, and technical as your 6 main attributes. Set them to their racial minimums, which is the first die code that you see after each one. So like for dexterity, you see it says 1 die / 3 die plus 2. The first number is your racial minimum. The second number is your racial maximum. It can never be higher than that.
Okay, so you start at 1. So you're saying you start with 1.
Yeah, so you'll start with 1 die in dexterity, knowledge, mechanical, and perception, and technical, and then 2 die plus 2, which you can just round up to 3 die if you want for strength.
Yes. So
Yes.
let me put all these other things
Yeah.
up here.
Yeah,
Yeah, because the only thing that, yeah, here we go. Bam, bam, bam. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
2 die plus 2. That's funny.
Yeah, because the way the system works is that the dice are split up into pips. So when you improve a skill, you improve it from a flat code like 2 die or 3 die to 3 die plus 1. When you improve it again, it goes to 3 die plus 2, and so whenever you roll, you're rolling that die code 3 dice, and then you're adding any modifier to it at the end of the total. Instead of plus 3, though, you go up to the next die code.
Okay.
So that's why I told you to round up to 3 dice, is because there is no plus 3.
Yeah, 2d plus 2 might as well just be 3. Yeah.
Might as well be 3 die. So that means that if you set everything to your racial minimums, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 3 is 8 dice spent. You get 4 more to put in for just your basic attribute dice.
Okay, just for basic attribute.
Yeah.
Okay, so right now I'm at 3, and I want to ask this: is that usually when you do character creation, is there a limit to, like right now my strength is at 3?
Yeah.
Is there? You just go by the limit that, so if I wanted to be that person, I could just put all 4 into strength, put 3 more into strength and make it so it's a 6D, or
you could throw everything into strength and giving you 1 left over because your species maximum is 6 die in strength.
Yeah, so I'm not gonna do that, but that's why I wanted to ask.
You can.
I was like,
yeah. Do you, before you put in the points, I do want to ask you, do you want to play someone that is Force sensitive? Do you want to play a Jedi? What time era do you see this character belonging to? Like, what's your favorite era to want to play in?
I'll say he's not Force sensitive.
Okay.
But it all depends. That all depends also on, like, and that's the other thing. That's another thing that I would ask is based off of the campaign setting. So where in the ethos, where in the history are we playing this in? Is this going to be after the execution of Order 66? Is this prior to that? Is this when the New Republic is coming? Like things like that.
Yeah. Discussions like that are best saved for like this kind of moment for session 0. So what era do you want to explore as a Wookiee? I would say.
As a Wookiee?
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, it would be after Order 66 because a lot, the dynamic for the actual enclave, the clans of Wookiee have changed dramatically after that. So
do you want it closer to Rebels, or do you want it closer to the Clone Wars, sorry, or do you want it closer to Rebels, like right before A New Hope?
Yeah, the Rebels is fine.
Okay. And because you brought up questions that you should ask at session 0, you know that I use a consent form, and that a consent form is incredible. What are some things that should take place before the game begins in your itinerary? Like, what are some red flags that tip you off that a table might not be fitting you well enough? And what are some green flags that a table is going to kind of exceed your expectations?
To be honest, the biggest red flag would be somebody that says that they don't need a session 0. That right there already tells me, well, that lets me know that, one, you don't care enough for the campaign itself as far as how we're going to run it, or for the other people playing. So I wouldn't want to play with somebody that wouldn't. If you don't always have to have a session 0, a lot of times, you create the character with the game master separately from everybody else, type of thing. But yeah, I mean, that would be one. But one of the things that's a green flag, and I will say this because there are people that say this too, is snacks. If people bring food, I am so happy. Like, I would be, man. There were times that we've played in, like, real, like that Chewy Will and I have played in front of each other in real time, and the times that we've had food has been the happiest times in session. And the other times when we've had nothing and we're just sitting there, we're like, this is the 3rd hour now, we're going into the 4th. I'm like, yeah, guys, we need something, because I'm becoming hangry, and my character is not that kind of person to be upset. I can't rage in the game as a cleric. So but yeah, snacks is one thing. But I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I just wanted to make sure that you, as you're answering the questions, that you continue building the character, because
That's right.
we do get to see your progress. But I do want to jump off of the thing you said. One of my favorites, I will say, that I do miss the most is our Brunches and Dragons podcast episodes, because I don't know where Big C got the stuff that he got to bring in, but we always had something different to taste and talk about for each of our episodes. And I think to this day, the peanut butter IPA that he brought in,
It wasn't a peanut butter IPA. It was
peanut butter and jelly. Was it the peanut butter and jelly mead?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was aged. It was aged for a number of months in the barrel, is what he explained. And the thing about Big C Caesar is that when we were lucky enough that when we did Brunches and Dragons, that he was also working. He's also a big connoisseur of alcohol. So he makes it. He's like, hey, you guys have never tried this shit. Try this shit. And also the fact that, he has connections like that in the world, in that kind of world, especially here in South Florida, when it comes to beer and stuff like that. So, like, if it wasn't for him, we would have never had the term bromosas.
The bromosas, yeah. Natalie's Orchard orange juice and the crisp 6-point beer.
Yeah, man. I'll tell you right now, it works with any pills, but the crisp is probably going to be the one to use, because that's when I first tasted it. And I will say that Bromosas has surpassed that game and has gone to other games. Like, there are games that I am currently playing in now that we have brought up in game canon, that there are Bromosas that happen during a certain time of day. And yeah, it's just, and that's one of the fun things like that.
Yeah.
I believe I got everything in.
All
So
right.
I went ahead. You said I had 4 points left over. So I have right now, I guess, my quote unquote dump stats would be knowledge and technical.
You say that, but you've only put in the base stats. So one of the good things that the system does is that what you've created as far as your dice are concerned is a typical Wookiee, a Wookiee off the street, a Wookiee that's just like walking around Coruscant or Endor, some Wookiee, some random Joe Schmo Wookiee. That's not what you're playing, though. You're playing a hero. And so the system gives you 6 more dice to put into your attribute pool. The reason I asked if you wanted to play a force sensitive character is because the way they balance heroic characters when you're a Jedi is that you have to take from your attribute pool to pump up the 3 force stats that control your ability to use the force, which is control, sense, and alter, which are, the 3 of them are a beautiful little triangle of skills that, given a creative storyteller, like even if that power doesn't exist, you can use the 3 of them in conjunction with each other to kind of create it. Like, for example, when The Force Awakens came out and Kylo Ren stops the blaster bolt at the beginning, Force Awakens came out long after West End Games went defunct. But because the rules exist in such a way that a storyteller could easily have said, like, that's going to be a control and alter power. You know, even if the rules aren't there, there's enough meat on the bone that you can extrapolate information from the different powers to kind of ad hoc a power for somebody that kind of like, oh my god, I never knew I could do that. It's like, yeah, well, now we can.
You know, sir, I don't know if you're okay with this, but I want to go ahead and just say, you know what?
Strength to 6.
I have an idea that force sensitive. I want this character would be force sensitive.
Okay. All right. So now you get to use those.
The thing is, yeah.
What is the thing?
Well, the thing is that the way I'm thinking about this character is that this character as a Wookiee, and considering that I'm going to keep his knowledge at 1, he's probably has stuck to his guns as being, you know, as far as a heavy hand, a muscle in whatever group he's in, you know, possibly go become a mercenary at some point, and that he doesn't realize that he is force sensitive.
Okay, that was going to be my next question. Does he know he has this ability to tap into the force, into the energy that surrounds all living things?
Because it's interesting because you say this, right? Because I'm looking. You brought up the 3, which is control, sense, and alter.
Correct.
Right? And when you say control, sense, or alter, that in turn can be towards a specific thing that is happening, right? Like if you're altering a course, like for instance, just off the top of my head, altering the course of a laser fire. Right?
Yeah.
And it's just a thought in my head that he is the kind of person, like he is thinking, he's like, I really need to make this shot, this laser blast to this area. And when he shoots, it's uncanny. Sometimes it's uncanny how lucky or how accurate he is because he literally alters that bolt towards the designation that he needs it to.
Completely plausible.
Doesn't realize that it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That.
Yeah. Okay, so you can split up the extra 6 dice however you want. You can put them 2, 2, 2. Don't start with anything higher than 3 in a 4 skill. I think that's a good kind of cap point for a beginner.
All right, there we go.
Yeah. Okay. So now we'll go take a look at the templates, because that does give you a good kind of bouncing off point when you're creating a character. And as we go to page 266 to look at the templates, I want to ask you, given your history with the hobby, since you go all the way back to Hero Quest and AD&D, where do you think you're most comfortable at the table? Like, do you have a preference for either being a player or running the game? Where do you think you have the most fun? 'Cause I know that you run games.
I will say that I am decent. I believe that I am decent for a story arc, like a short term, like how you run your like how you run your three shot, like you do three session art, like three session campaigns.
Mm.
I'm good with like a piece. Like I have like it's my brain has this thing in its head where like I have this thing running where if I am thinking of a scenario or an option, I obsess over it, and I tend to be like, okay, I have this mapped out how I would want a setup like up until this point, and then afterwards my mind just drifts off. Like I'm like I don't know how to like when people build worlds, like whole worlds and things, and you have it so at one point it just runs essentially on its own in the sense of we're here in this part of the continent, other things are happening, and you know what we do affects that, like how White Wolf, like how one area can affect the whole, it can change the landscape for everybody else. That's It's crazy to me how people can do that and not go insane.
Okay.
Like I am better at low scope, but yeah, if as far as a PC,
Mhm.
I don't know. I don't I don't like Spotlight. It's weird. I don't like Spotlight. I'm very conscious of it. Whenever I'm playing that, I'll in my head will immediately go, "Hey, we haven't heard it from anybody else in the past 2 minutes. I think I'm gonna stop.
Mm.
I'm gonna just back up what I'm doing. Okay, I'm just gonna now do something else.
Mm. Mm.
Hey, this
I have
person isn't
noticed you
doing it.
do that. Yes, you're
Yeah,
very cognizant of it.
yeah. Like it's because it's again, it's a like TTRPGs are collaborative storytelling. So I don't want to be I don't want to be labeled as that person that needs to have it always be on them. In fact, I enjoy the vibe, just being a vibe until the call's needed for me to change something. Like, you know, that's why I think if you ever, like, for instance, if you ever watch or ever go back through on Ravnos Archon channel, anybody that's listening to listening and watching that, when I would play as Erickson Wood, which is a vampire in the Vampire the Masquerade
Mhm.
campaign that Chewie runs, he is struggling with wanting that power and being noticed and having that attention. And I'm trying to pull that off without taking attention from the table.
Mhm.
It is like, man, like afterwards, like that is the most like exhausting for me mentally.
I can
But
imagine.
yes, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Well,
Uh, but yeah, going through the templates, they're great for just giving you a package. It's like
Mhm.
it starts with like the alien student of the Force. Is this something that you think you said that you don't see this guy, your Wookiee, being a Jedi student? So I think that rules that one out. You were thinking more mercenary. Arrogant
Yeah,
noble doesn't
like
fit either.
yeah. I mean, there's bounty hunter,
Bounty hunter.
which
I mean
is
that's
pretty much like on point.
the trope. Yeah,
Um, is the trope for it.
yeah.
I
Bash
love how there's
pilot.
just one that just straight up the one there that says straight up Ewok.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. I love
Ewok.
that.
Ewok. What do you do? Ewok.
A
Uh,
Ewok.
yeah, the failed Jedi is interesting, but I don't think that works. Gambler is very Lando Calrissian. That kid.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen Outlaw. Outlaw seems like a good one actually.
Okay.
I can see that.
All right.
Not so much Outlaw. I can see that. Uh, yeah. Well, I can go with that.
Okay. So let's use that as a template. Um, so for dexterity, instead of archaic weapons, because I don't think that you would be running around with like a slug thrower. Let's replace that with bowcaster because you're a Wookiee. So, given that, I think the rest work. So you would have bowcaster under dexterity, blaster, dodge, grenade is dangerous, but I could see you using it. And then melee combat, melee parry, and vehicle blasters round out your list.
Let me see. So blaster.
Yeah.
Oh, you said bow. Forgive me. What was the first part?
Bowcaster.
Bowcaster. Yeah. Also, I don't type very fast. Just letting you know.
Okay.
Letting you know.
Then I will jump to knowledge then and help you out. I don't see you having bureaucracy, even though it's part of the package.
Nope.
The rest I could see.
Yeah.
You have gun. I has laser. But alien species, planetary system, streetwise survival, and value, I think all fit.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a drop down menu, my guy.
Well, you know, it's one of those things.
I was like, typing. Planetary systems, survival.
Oh, I realize that if you're adding, I can't add.
Oh, well, now we know the limitations. Let me add value, and then we're done for knowledge. Boom. There you go.
Damn it.
So
close. Vehicle blasters, yeah. But
vehicle. All right. So for mechanical, the package gives you astrogation, beast riding, repulsor lift operations, space transport, starship gunnery, and starship shields. I think they all kind of fit. There's nothing out of the ordinary there. I mean, you're a Wookiee, and you do have riding beasts on Kashyyyk. There's things that you could have ridden. Repulsor lift operations is for hovercrafts, for anything that has, like a land speeder is a repulsor lift. Space transports handles anything that's not a starfighter, and that's not a capital scale ship like a Star Destroyer. So like the Millennium Falcon is a space transport. It will count as that for piloting.
Okay.
Starship gunnery handles any kind of weaponry that's a ship based. So like either a turret or an actual like auto gun that you fire from the cockpit. And then starship shields is for using and adjusting the shields on the spaceship.
Okay. I mean, I'm not horrible. It's not the lowest.
Yeah. And again, you'll have individual skill dice that are just for these skills that you're putting in. So you can bump them up.
Okay. Let me see. Con. But you know, and what I like is at least on this sheet here, because we've played, because we've used Roll20 before. And I feel like this is a lot more user friendly in the sense of getting easier to add things on.
Yeah, there's been a good amount of detail, and it shows just how much people still want to play the game. You know,
right. Even though you, as you said, it's been defunded.
Yeah. So you keep going, which is good. Under perception, you get bargain, con, hide, search, and sneak. Under strength, you get brawling, lifting, stamina, and swimming. And then
a lot of swimming. There's a lot of swimming in Star Wars.
There's a lot of swimming in Kashyyyk. You fall off them trees, you're gonna die unless you can swim.
Yeah.
And then for technical, you get computer programming and repair, one skill. Demolitions, which goes with grenades. first aid, and then security. Interesting.
I'll change the point system on there. I'm just gonna make sure I put
Yeah,
everything in
yeah.
first.
Yeah, everything defaults to whatever the attribute is. So all of your strength skills start at 6 die.
Jesus.
Did you change your strength to 6, by the way? Because it still shows 3 for me.
Oh no, I remember I wanted to put the remaining points into alter. I mean into the force section. Yeah, like I left it's at 3. Like when I did the original point system, I put the highest is strength. But then I ended up putting in the remaining 6 that you gave me and put it because I made them force sensitive. So
yeah. Well, you're missing 1 die. Because you have 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, and 3 is 11. And you should have 12 die spread out.
Okay, well, strength is 4. There you go.
There you go.
I got you.
Because the 6 that you got from being a hero character, you put all into control sense and alter.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
See, there we go. 2. So perception is 2.
Yeah. Are you happy with the skill suite that you have? Because there are other skills that you are allowed to take during character creation. You're not just limited to the ones that your template gives you.
Okay.
Like intimidation is a knowledge skill. I would imagine that you would want that.
That is true. I will say though that
languages is a knowledge skill, so you might want that to decipher what people are saying to you.
But the thing is, my knowledge is 1, so I could try.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Nobody says that you're good at it. You just
what I do like on the template though, with the fact that they give you a template like this, is that it gives you the base, skill point, the base skills.
Yeah.
That you would as that type of character, or at least as far as that archetype. So I like that. I like that they do that.
Yeah. So set everything up to your attribute level, because everything defaults to that. So go ahead and start cycling through that. And while you're doing that, I want you to think about, since your character is force sensitive, if the force was a real thing, like if you and I had access to it and you had been endowed with it, do you think you would be a Jedi, or do you think that you would fall to the temptations of the dark side? Like, where would you land if you, Bear, were in Star Wars and you had the force?
The thing about and it's interesting because when people talk about the force, whether it's Jedi or Sith, right, whether you think of one of the two, people think that if you lack discipline and if you lack dedication, you would be a Sith, right? And it doesn't make, and to be honest, they are highly dedicated. Like, they are dedicated to a fault, like how Jedi should be dedicated on their end, their values to a fault. And it's hard, like, if thinking about it now, if I was in it, yeah, I would lean towards the side of the Jedi for sure.
Okay.
Which is, the boring goody two shoes answer to it.
Well, I don't that's one of the things that I don't like about the prequels and the sequels, is that they treat Jedis like how D&D treats how 3.5 treated paladins in 3rd edition, where it's just like, if you're a paladin, you've got to play lawful stupid, and you gotta turn around when your rogue does stupid shit, because if you find out that the rogue is doing stupid shit, you've got to kill your rogue. And so a lot of it, I think, if you if you go outside of what is now the canonical Star Wars, like if you go back through the legend stuff, one of my favorite iterations of Star Wars has been Dark Horse Comics had a run called Tales of the Jedi, which was set 4,000 years before the Battle of Yavin. It is the rise of the Republic. It is the first time that the Republic is tested against the Great Sith Empire. It is the rise of what is known as the Golden Age of the Sith, and there's these fantastic characters that you really get to experience the full gamut of emotions through, where the two main brothers are Ulick and Kay Keldroma. And although they're the heroes, I always gravitated more towards Nomi Sunrider. Like, her story is really fantastic. And given that the only other like strong female character in that time frame in real life, as far as like Star Wars is concerned, was Mara Jade, like seeing Nomi be like a widowed mother who undergoes Jedi training like later in life, is just so interesting. But
and that's the thing. Like I love that. I know when I said it before, about the goody two shoes boring piece. It's just like it's interesting because if you read, like, when people get more immersed into the actual like history and the lore of it, like a Jedi can have problems, just like a Sith has questionable doubts of their own values as well. And it's a constant struggle. Uh, it's a constant struggle between one or the other. And maybe that's something that, in general, I would like to see more of in the future, is having that's like showing more of that struggle for people, like how they touched on it more with the original with Luke, but I would like to see it more in other people as well.
yeah. Given that you've heard a lot about what I like and what my favorite stuff has been, what has been your favorite genre of the hobby to explore, or even a genre of the hobby that you've wanted to explore that you might not have touched on or dived into as of yet? Like, what do you feel has been your favorite?
Well, I mean, I've been so not entrenched, but I put myself headfirst into Dungeons and Dragons because that was a huge, like, that is a core memory that I'll always have. So that is something that I'll always put myself into. And, you know, what I have noticed recently, and this is like maybe the past 5 years or so, is that other RPG, like other like tabletops that I've tried, and a lot of them have been actually on the Ravnos Archon channel. One that sticks to me now is probably one of my favorites, and it has absolutely no dice. There is no form of combat, and it's literally just building a story, building the world in a story that was just loosely created for you as a jumping off point. And the name just escapes me now, but I know that you know it. I'm sorry?
Wanderhome.
Yeah, Wanderhome.
I love Wanderhome.
Exactly. And Wanderhome has always like the thing is I'm not a note taker, but I'm really not a note taker.
No,
Like,
I know.
nor for a faction. Like, you've already seen it. Like, and I think it's cute, and I think it's adorable that people give me notebooks. Like, when I'm a PC and people give me notebooks, like, you gave me. I still have the Dungeons and Dragons one that has the Dungeons and Dragons logo. I have it stored away, and there's nothing written in it, but I have it, and it's really nice. You know, I've been fortunate enough that when I've played tabletop RPGs, I always play with somebody that loves to be a note taker. Because if you add like it when it comes to stuff that when it comes to everything, if I don't write it down, I try to remember what I can as a character, and that's the idea. Is that if by the next time we're playing, if I don't remember it to that character, it must not be that important. But I have learned playing that if there's certain things that your game master storyteller is telling you, and they tend to do it in a very abundant, like a huge detail,
Yeah.
that is something you need to know. You
Uh,
need to remember.
given the meme of tropes as far as people are concerned, I don't want to use her name, but is because you are not a note taker. Does that mean that your spouse is the note taker?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh
Okay. So the
yeah.
meme rings true.
Yeah, my wife Tiff, and she's been relatively new in tabletop RPG as well. She's
Mm-hmm.
relatively new as in she's been in it for 4 years, and her first two experiences were not that great.
Mm.
Like it literally when she played for the first two times, the she did not feel connected. One, she didn't feel connected with her story or with her character because it was still fresh for her.
Mm-hmm.
And then the type of game that she played, because you know every just like how everybody has a different play style when they're a PC, there's also different GMs and how they you know run through their game. There are people that are literally like rule lawyers that go by raw, and that's raw is raw,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what it is. And
Rules
then
is
there are
written
people,
for those that don't understand.
yeah, rules is written. Forgive me.
No, no, you're good.
And you know, and or you can call them raw dogs. That sounds bad.
Yeah, yeah.
Or
That's
you
why I didn't
can,
want people being like, "You raw dog in the game." It's like, no, 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 no.
and then you have the other extreme, which are people that are just wait that rule of cool. Hey, you could do whatever you want. It is what it is. The world will, the it's all, it is all to, as long as you're happy, I'm fine with it. And which is great to a certain extent, but if you give your character, if you give your players everything they want all the time, it gets also very boring.
Mhm.
So it's people that fine tune and tailor it to work with the group that they're in. And right now Tiff is playing with a friend. Like we have a current game master, which is Quills, which is a friend, close friend of mine, close friend of Will's, that she's running a campaign, and she has like been amazing at it, putting herself. She's type A. She does everything she can to have fun at the table, make it engaging. I
Nice.
mean, the only other person that I can see that surpasses that, and I don't want to blow smoke up this person's ass, but it would be Will. It would be you, sir. So,
I don't believe it, but thank you.
yeah.
So now that you've reset everything to their stat value, the game gives you 7 dice to split up amongst just the skills, just whatever you've added. The 6 attributes you can't touch anymore. We've already moved beyond that. You
Yeah,
can't touch the 3-4 skills either. Like those are done and set in stone. So
sure.
this is just for your skills. You can improve any of them up to 2 dice more than what they start at. So like if you wanted to dump 2 of them into your bowcaster to be better to shoot your bowcaster with, you would bump it up to 4 die. And that would eat 2 of them up, so you'd have 5 left. One of the things that the system also allows you to do, and this is how sometimes people end up with just a little extra die in something. You can split up a die into its 3 pips. So you can split up 1 die into either 3 plus 1s, because remember 3 plus 1s is 1 die, or into a +2 and a +1. So you can modify things, give you like a little bit of an edge. But another thing you can do with one of your dice is you can turn it into 3 separate specialties. And what a specialty does, one, when you improve it, it costs less than the stat it's based off of. So like Han Solo, for example, might have a blaster skill of like 6 die, but he might have a specialty in that DL-99, the fucking heavy blaster pistol, at 9 die. So to improve his 6 die regular blaster skill cost him 6 character points. Excuse me. Whereas the specialty costs half, round up, so it would cost him 5. It's a little cheaper, and he gets a lot more bang for his buck out of it. But in character creation, the specialty lets you go above the 2 die maximum in something. So it's a little trick that I learned back in the day when I first started playing, where I was just like, oh, I could have a 4 die dexterity. I could start with a 6 die in blaster pistols, and then I could get a 7th die in like a blaster rifle or a heavy blaster pistol, one of the two. And then that puts me at 7 die. So now where everybody else is running around shooting with 6 dice, if they've put in their points like I have, I have that 1 extra die that gives me the edge sometimes. So it's one of those things that you can do. The system is very robust in that way. It's one of the reasons why whenever somebody asks me, it's like, hey, do you have anything ready? In my back pocket, I will always have a story that I can tell for Star Wars, that I can tell for Legend of the Five Rings, and that I can tell for most White Wolf games. The Holy Trinity for sure, like Vampire the Masquerade, Werewolf the Apocalypse, or Mage the Ascension. Drop of a hat, I can come up with a game off the top of the dome. Some of the other systems are kind of getting up there in my familiarity with them and my comfort with them. 7C, easily in the top 5. I would love Old Gods to be part of that. I still need to run it a little bit more.
Well, let me ask you this: Are you? I know that you brought me in to ask me questions, but I also am curious. I don't ask you very often.
Ask.
So, do you enjoy as a storyteller?
Mm-hmm.
Although I know that you created the campaign to have a beginning to it, and then you also have an ending in mind, or sometimes you don't, and you just lead up to it.
Mm-hmm.
But do you which part of the actual campaign itself do you enjoy more as a GM? Is it more of the very beginning when the characters are introduced to your world and you're building the world for them and they see it all in those first few sessions, like those first couple of sessions? Or is it more of like or is it more of in the middle of this campaign, in the middle of the session, the campaign itself, that you find out that that the characters themselves are now contributing to putting expansions or updates to a world that has been created that you didn't think of, type of thing? Or do you just like the end where it all culminates to that collaborative storytelling, seeing how it all comes to a head?
I don't like the end because that means that the game is over. And although I do, because you've been at the table with me, you know that I live for the P.T. Barnum moments where it's like, and that's a good point to call it for tonight. Like those moments where you're just like, I want to go another 10 minutes because I need to know where this goes. Those are the moments that I really like love. If it comes to endings, but I think as a DM that's been doing this since he was in high school, the moment that the story is no longer mine, I think is my favorite moment.
That to me too, man.
Because the moment you guys do something that I did not prepare for, that's when all of the little gremlins get to work and they're like, how do we fix this? How do we adjust the world to this new information? Because a lot of how I run the game is I will write notes during the session, but it's not like thorough notes. It's just, hey, they talked to this person, or this happened at this time in this street, like for Vampire, and then afterwards like a couple days later, I'll sit down with what I wrote, try to remember what was happening, and then write a reaction as the world itself. Like how would the world react to what's happening? And then that reaction is the springboard that I use to go into the next episode. So it's not like I'm writing a story, especially not for White Wolf. For White Wolf, like I can only write what the world has reacted to in your one evening or set of evenings of shenaniganery. And then depending on what you do, it will depend on what dominoes topple, if any, what sandbags you put down to stop whatever flood is coming. Like there's the reactions are the actual meat and potatoes for me as far as storytelling goes. Like I used to be in high school, I was like, I gotta tell my story. And you're just along for the ride. And I've noticed it now more than ever because one of our friends is running Descent into Avernus for us, and none of us are happy. None of us are having a good time. We just want this game to end. We have even taken it upon ourselves to like read the module for ourselves to see how we can expedite the end of this motherfucking thing, so that we can move on to the next thing. And
yeah.
I sat down with the other players because I'm playing a Warforged rogue in that, and we sat down and we're like, hey, what's wrong? Why does this feel different? And I was like, no, it's because our ST is still in high school mentally when it comes to DMing. Like he still thinks that it's an adversarial relationship, that it's him against us. And one of the things that I've learned having done this for so long is that if you stay adversarial, you're the only one having fun because you have to be the one kind of punching down. Whereas now I don't see the point in punching down when lifting up creates better story. You know?
I mean, and I agree with you completely. And I mean, having that attitude works in a very limited capacity. And for instance, if this is just the only time I can ever see that being okay, and even then it's still iffy because again, you have more of a creative power in a sense if when you're being an adversary because you know that you can put something or change something or pretend that something was done and or not done. The only time I ever see that is if you ever, because I played a game where the whole point was it was the DM wanted to do a TPK, the game master wanted to do a TPK, but we were also level 18 characters that in in third edition, not even 3.5, in third edition, for D&D. So it was like some ridiculous combination and multi-classing that was happening there. And I can see that working, but that's it. It's just for something like that. And it feels like it's more of even more so like a one-shot type of deal where it's like, hey, okay, the whole point of me is to give you like trying to make the stakes as high as possible. So I'm going to be a dick.
Yeah.
You guys are cool with that? All right, cool.
No. There was no conversation about him being a dick to us. It was just, hey, here's a dickening. Enjoy it.
Yeah.
But I love that you brought me to my next question, which is, in your experience, what makes a good game great and what makes a mediocre game terrible to you? What are the hallmarks that you have witnessed and or observed for yourself in both camps?
I mean, and it's funny because what I deem as something good that potentially becomes great could, when you say it and you look at it a different perspective, it can be really bad. And it can also be bad. in the sense where you when you play a session that literally has no dice rolls. Uh, and the reason why is because I love combat. Like combat is fun. I enjoy doing that, but role playing the that's a huge part of it. It's the R,
Mhm.
it's the RP and role and RPG. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it
Yeah.
is the whole point is being able to portray a character that you actually in your mind at any point like that. That's why one of my favorite moments is when no dice is being used, because there is a conversation happening. There is that collaborative storytelling. There is that exchange of information back and forth. Like when I can sit as a when I, and I know this has happened to you before. It
Mhm.
must have, but it's an amazing feeling when you, as a game master, sit there and you haven't said anything for like 10-15 minutes, and your characters have finally and the players are finally like opened up, broken through that shell for the first time of being shy, and they're actually playing the way their character would be playing, and they're just engaging with each other. And you just sit there and you're like, that's it. I can leave now. I can get up. I can leave. They are playing. I have done it. They have run the game for me for that little bit of time. Um, what is I can see bad going to worse.
Mhm.
Bad going to worse. I can see when a player takes it when a player takes it upon themselves to make it about it's about them or the game is over. Like when people are in there deliberately to try to ruin the game, like when they do that deliberately. There are people that, there are things that you do in a game where, it just so happens that it alters the course of the game doing something. But when people go in there like, okay, here's the MacGuffin that we need to grab. Okay, I swallow the MacGuffin. Okay, but we need that. Oh, but it doesn't matter. I'm gonna go ahead. Like now it's done now. I destroyed it. It's like, okay, so I guess we're gonna now pivot to something else. Oh, okay, whatever you do, I'm not doing it. I'm just gonna go and build. I'm gonna build a
Mm.
tavern now and leave.
Yeah.
I go, well then, you know, at that point, you should play. You play your solo like idle RPG game on your phone, and then just let us play.
Hello
Because
Kitty Island Adventure, bro.
But I will say, and because I'm looking through the chats as well, I will say that Sway does bring up a good point.
Mm.
If we were playing, a PC, another player would probably try to cut that out of the person, and then PvP would happen.
Yeah.
Which, you know, I mean, Chewy has also been in the situation where I have run like as a game master for during COVID, when COVID was happening, and how the character, unfortunately I said, yeah, let's make this an evil campaign, and that was my mistake. That was that was my mistake, because immediately it went to PvP, and it just like, hey, this guy sounds fishy, we got to kill him. Cool. Let's spend every session now talking about how we want to kill this guy
Hmm.
and then kill him.
I forgot who my meathead was, because I know that I played the Kobold Cleric of Tiamat, Krizik, who
Yeah.
I will, if you know anything about me, you know that at the drop of a hat, if you're like, I want to run a D&D game, good luck convincing me to play in a D&D game, because I don't want to touch anything that WotC has defiled with its hands.
Right.
But if you're like, hey, I want to run a D&D game, and I know that you're not going to like raw dog, as you said, the OGL and the way the rules are written in D&D, then I'll give you a chance, just like I played in this Descent Awareness game.
Yeah.
I will always play a Kobold if I'm allowed. Always. Drop of a hat. I love Kobolds. They're the underdog. And so a Kobold cleric. I know I had somebody that I sat on like a backpack. I don't remember who it was though.
No, I don't think it was not any campaign that I've been in, but like that's why I like, and I guess like, I think about it more and more. Is like I rarely play in that kind of setting. If I can play a halfling, or or like if I can play a halfling, or if I can play a goblin, like those are the two I usually go for. Is if they are playable characters, and because I look at goblins as misunderstood, and it just trying to find something that is not like that's what I like is when people play characters that even based off their species or based off their background that they're playing outside of the norm. You know what I mean? And I like that. Um and then but then people that can have that dedication to it, that like it's either one or the other. It's either you have to be 100% goblin and
Hmm.
be bottled chaos, or you're going to try to make it so that like how I had Togoff. It was just
Yeah.
literally like he is, if it he was with the rest of his family. They got thrown out into a middle of owl bear. They thought he died. They said, fuck him. And then a human cleric found him, saved his life, picked him up, and he was like, all right, cool. Now he's the only nice person that's ever been. This is the only person that's ever been nice to me. I will now be a cleric,
Yeah.
and I will now be religious. And that happens to a lot of people.
I-
So
If you're not playing a goblin the way they have been drawn in Pathfinder, you're playing it wrong. I said what I said.
see,
Uh,
that Pathfinder is also a very interesting system too.
um, Now that you've put in your points, I
Yeah.
want to ask you, given the scope of what Star Wars means to people and what it might mean to you, what it means to me, what it stands for, do you think that this Wookiee would be a character that you would like to see in any of the media? Where do you see their story beginning?
Well, I mean, I would treat this character.
Mhm.
I would treat this character as somebody that has heard stories and tales of being, of Chewbacca, because Chewbacca is highly, is like at least if my memory serves me correctly, he's highly regarded, or at least he's shown to be like in good standing. So,
Yeah. I mean, he was
this
200 years
character was
old when the movie started, when A New Hope started.
yeah,
So
like
he's
what
been
was the
around.
name?
He's done some shit.
Like I would see this character, this Wookiee, being, hey, I can do the same, and then immediately it goes bad for him, and that is why he is an outlaw, as opposed to being a mercenary. He is like, oh no, I've I've worked with the wrong people and did not realize it, and I've done it for so long that now I am on the run.
Hmm. Okay. Uh, when going through the process of character creation, what is your preferred method of going through it? Like, do you want to bounce ideas off of the GM or ST like we've been doing? Do you want to walk through it on your own and kind of adjust the choices after? Like, what is your ideal scenario for creating a character?
I mean, what helps out a lot is the actual setting.
Mhm.
So for the campaign itself, that's why having a conversation, like, and I say this to anybody, having a conversation with your storyteller or with your game master is leaps and bounds a lot easier for you to create a character than it is trying to come up with it on your own and then hope that it fits in, or that the GM has to end up being like, okay, this doesn't really work out. I'm going to try to factor how this could be possible. Like, it's so much easier for me to know that, hey, you're on this starship. You are the D list. You are the Omega shift. You are like night shift, if you will,
Mhm.
and you run the security. Cool. All right, I know exactly now what I can do with this person. Like, I have a better idea of what I can bounce off.
No.
So I always look at the setting first, to see, what I can do. And then from there, it's really, for games like D&D, I will always figure out, all right, halfling or goblin, what can I do this time?
Mhm.
And I have, like, I'm also that kind of person who has ADHD that, well, if you ever look at like my sheets of characters that I've created, I have about, look at my phone right now, and I have about 35 different character sheets that I have created for just one TTRPG that are sitting there. And I will be like, okay, what is the setting that we're doing? I think this character will work. Let me change this up. Like, I have already gone above and beyond in my head, which is a little insane.
Okay. So, given all the information that we've received about this Wookiee, given everything that we've bounced back and forth, given the scenario that you are in the Rebels era, where the Empire has risen, the Republic is no more. Imagine that we see a ship land on Tatooine. Mos Espa, because Mos Eisley gets all the attention. So let's go to Mos Espa.
Okay.
You've got that round docking port, that landing pad, the sand kind of dances and swirls around the repulsor lifts as the landing ramp comes down. And what does the camera pick up from this Wookiee? What do we see as he descends with the rest of his crew?
I mean, you'll see it's literally it almost looks like the actual fur that he has on, which I haven't given him a name yet. Let me see.
Now's the
Yeah.
time.
Let me see. Rudico. Yeah, let's go with it because I don't want to say Rudikio. So
Yeah,
Rudico.
that's a
I
Harry
don't know.
Potter spell.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, Rudico.
Yep.
R or Rudy, but
Rudy works.
yeah, Rudy, that works. He'll come, like, as he's coming down. You'll see that it almost looks like his fur's been charred a little bit, like he's been working on working on the engines a little too long, type of thing, or trying to help with the engines for a little too long. So you can see like little burnt scuffs. He has the strap around, so that holds the bow blaster. He also has one one belt. Like, he has one utility belt that has a little flap in the front of it because he's trying, even though he's full of fur,
The
he's trying
modesty
to be
flap.
respectful. Modesty flap. And he also has, like, you can also see it, like, on his left leg, that he has two other wraps of belts that holds various items on there that he uses, whether it can go from being binoculars to lockpicking to tools if he needs to repair a weapon, his bow, because it does go on and off every so often.
As it's want to do.
And yeah, and you'll see that he has. I don't know why this came to me. He has he has a scene, like, his hair is almost like a scene haircut where he's covering his left eye. He can see
Where are
through, like how
you?
dogs do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where are you?
Yeah.
I'm so. And in fact, I can picture him using the bow when he's raising the bow blaster up, that it pushes the hair up so that his eye, his dominant eye, can see.
I mean, obviously,
And
yeah.
then brings it back.
Yeah.
And then bring it back down.
Every time he aims, My Chemical Romance plays in the background.
Yeah, man. Parade. It says it on his weapon. It says Black Parade.
Black Parade, obviously, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What does the rest of your crew look like? What are the other three shapes following you down? Who are they? Was the captain with you?
You want me to give it? I will say that if it's a crew that I'm on, this is not the main crew. This is probably what you would call scouting.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's me and the three other people would be whoever the pilot is, as well as the second gunner besides myself,
Mm-hmm.
and then the tech. So they're all three. I want to say they're all three humans.
Okay.
Um, the tech though the is looks badly injured. Like he's walking limp and has one arm in a sling, the sling type of situation, which is probably the reason why my body is like my fur has been singed a little bit because I've been trying to attempt to help him
Mm.
repair issues with the ship that we have. Um, but yeah, I look at yeah. Actually, no. It would be two humans and a droid. I have the other droid be the gunner for us,
Okay.
the second gunner. And it's just a yeah, three like an actual bipedal android. I can't. And then we have the captain, which looks like Zap Brannigan, but with black
Yes.
hair. Let's just put it.
Perfect. Um, but you guys are coming down. You heard that there is a old smuggler that has moved out to Tatooine. He's put the word out for a couple of people um, to go looking for some things for him.
Mm-hmm.
It's been very spotty information, but the captain and this old smuggler go back a ways. So he trusts that this is gonna be a payday of some kind. Whether it's moderate or big, I think it's gonna be completely up to the crew itself. But he knows, having worked with this smuggler, that a payday is coming.
Right. Okay.
You go through the streets of Mos Espa. Given that you have a better olfactory sense than a human does, what do the streets smell like to you? Like, does the arid desert heat help or hinder the scent of the world?
Oh no, it singes the nostrils.
Hmm.
It is not it's not a the like it's weird to talk to people that don't that people hear this that live outside of Florida,
Mhm.
but you can smell the lack of humidity in the air. That's it is it's almost like that moisture would have helped to block some of the acrid smell that you it just singes directly into the nostrils to the point that you that it's like it's forcing me to mouth breathe. Like I don't. This is I don't want to do. Just walking down, it's like this is bad.
Yeah. Um, what are the sounds like? Is it just people selling wares? Do you hear music? Like, is there ambiance? Is it just people, just a throng of people humming from the exchanges? Or is this the first time that Rudy's been to Mos Espa?
Yeah, this would be the first time.
Right.
That
So yeah, what's it like for him?
that's probably why that's the reason why the actual the smells are affecting him the way that they are.
Mhm.
Um, you know, and what would catch him though is the different aromas of the different like carts that like the different hover carts that are out there that are selling food out to passersby and people that and onlookers, people that are purveying the different wares, and it's just being able to find like seeing the different avenues, like how the actual place, the marketplace, is not just a single block, like how it's just in one spot. It branches out almost like vines. So if you go off on one path, you can literally go into just you would never run into the same place twice, type of thing.
Okay. You are traveling through the streets. You can see colors, the the purveying color is a very dark mustard. Like buildings tend to be just a different shade than the sand, but only so that you know where the sand ends and the building starts. It looks like it's very much not a design choice. It is a very fundamental, like, not creative choice whatsoever. It is just purpose and function and not joy or evocation of mood. But every so often you'll see banners, you'll see little hollow projectors of some event that catches your eye. There's an advertisement for a pod race. There's a bunch of little things. There's one thing that does catch your eye, I think, because it deals with the huts. What would that be?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think that would be?
That with the huts,
Mm-hmm.
it's most likely that you're seeing. I want to say that they're showing it. They're treating it as more of a disturbance. That there's more that the huts are providing more and more like presence in that area, which is causing a concern to people. Um, yeah, I think that would be it. Because you said the huts, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's probably might, and that's the thing. I would want to see if, um, listening to the crowd because you did say pod race.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm trying to remember one, if there's any, like, what I'm trying to figure out is twofold. One is the knowledge from this smuggler, if he's more, if he's prone to wanting to bet on these races, and if so, he would probably most likely be there. And two, if these huts are are showing up more because they're going to said pod race.
Okay. You will continue kind of walking, avoiding people, seeing little toydarians kind of float around, offering wares. There's one spotted green skin, just has these chains up and down the forearms of his left and right arm, almost like what you would imagine a busker would have in New York City, like in the Bronx or something. Like, hey, you want one of these? Tell us time real good. That kind of situation. But you get to the meeting spot. It's a little bar. It's a little dive. There's a broken neon, so it's half lit and half unlit, of what looks to be a droid, and the name in Arabic, of course, underneath it. What does Rudy think of the name of this bar? What's it called?
You said because in this place, let me see. Well, it would probably like I would, if for a setting like this, because usually I would try to think of something cheeky, but
Yeah.
I would probably say the Oasis would probably be the easiest thing to do. Or you can see like it has the name of the owner.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's crudely written his name, but you see more of the letters where it says Oasis, where it's just like he runs power into it, but very poorly. So it's almost like the same with the droid. The let like you see like it looks almost like neon that the letters keep going in and out from the O itself.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks almost from the distance. It says Oasis and then it says Asis, and you could tell that he's you know it's not caring too much about the name on there.
Sure. Um, as you are about to descend the steps into the bar, you will see that there's a sign above the door that says "No droids allowed." And for you to test out the system, let's have you give me a perception roll, please.
Oh, to see if I even notice it.
No, you'll notice it. It's in big letters, but there's something else I want to see if you notice or not.
Okay. So just for this one, we're just gonna roll just perception, like it's base perception,
It's
right?
base perception, yeah. So you're gonna roll. Do you see how there's two six-siders next to the actual stat? The one on the
Yeah.
left is the one to roll it. The one on the right is just if you want to just a secret roll for me alone. 5.
Yeah. Horrible.
It's not horrible.
Nothing.
The like I said, there's a 6 tier kind of point spread as far as difficulties are concerned. So it's very easy, moderate, difficult, very difficult, and then heroic.
Mm.
I wasn't trying to hide anything from you, so the 5 works. You see the sign, it says no droids allowed. And then at the end of the bar, you will see that there is, in fact, a droid with what looks to be a empty shot glass in front of it.
Okay. Even though I see that droid in, I do see the sign. Never been here before.
Yeah.
So it's literally motioning the droid that's with us.
Mm-hmm.
We'll call him ID 10T.
Okay.
That
Yeah.
That
That
you know,
works.
I'll tell idiot to be outside, to stand outside for the moment. We'll call him if in case we need anything.
Yep. Giddy.
Um, yeah, and I'll actually, and you're saying that this droid is by himself.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mhm.
We came in for this meeting. Is
Yeah.
this the person I'm supposed to be? Is this the droid I'm supposed to be meeting, or is this
No,
just
it's just a droid in the bar. There's a couple of people that are sitting at a table playing sabacc. There's a couple of people at a different table that are playing the holographic chess game that you saw from New Hope. And then there's a Deveronian sitting at a booth, just kind of arms spread over the back of the rest, dead perfect view of the door. And there's a smile that comes over his face as he sees your group kind of coming in.
right? That would be I would imagine that's the person that we're supposed to be meeting.
The only thing you have is a name, which is Zurich.
Zurich.
Yeah.
Okay. Can I check then if anybody else is as being as attentive as this gentleman all the way at the end?
Yeah, make another perception roll.
Okay.
See what you get.
Perception. Boop, 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 boop. I got another 5.
Another 5. The two playing sabacc are really into their game. The two playing chess will occasionally look around as it's not their turn. The droid, though, you notice has ports all around it. It has a cylindrical kind of IG head, like an IG model, and then there's just these little like extrusions, these little tubes that come out, and you don't know what might be a camera, might not be a camera, what's there.
Gotcha.
The air on the side of safety, though, you would assume that everything is a camera, and it has like a 360-degree view of its surroundings at any given point, considering that it is an IG droid, and they were made for defense and protection.
Right. And you're saying it's at the bar,
mm-hmm.
and it has a glass in front of it. Empty.
Correct.
I mean, with a knowledge of one and just pure curiosity, I am going to saunter over to this droid.
Okay.
Now, I imagine the way when I'm talking to people, I would be talking as, What? I can't even do it. I can't even do it anymore. See?
Yeah, the growling. Yeah.
Like right, like
Yes.
so it's just like a low hum to him, like I didn't know you tink boxes can drink.
It.
I literally say that to him.
Yeah. It does not move. And you see the bartender is this large Zabrak. He's got his horns are not the crown that Maul had, but rather there's just this kind of ovular little kind of trail, even disbursement of horns, but they've been ground down to flat little nubs. But it kind of looks like they've all been ground down at the same angle. But he comes over and he's just like, droid doesn't work. He's just there for show. Can I get you something to drink, big boy?
Sure. What for show? Interesting. And why does it have a shot glass in front of him?
It's a bar, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay. Sure. Let me just get. I'll get a tall. I'll get a tall glass of whatever ale or mead that you might have available, and also some information if you can help.
The drink costs one thing, the information costs another. How much are you looking to spend? You do have 500 credits on you, just so you're aware. Every character starts with 500 credits.
Okay, every character starts with 500.
Yeah.
Well, let's start with the drink and maybe have a pleasant conversation then, I guess. I am meeting someone here, so it's just as easy as pointing out, just trying to find them.
And he pours you something that looks brown. And it has little yellow whitish orbs that kind of bubble up to the surface and then dissolve into nothingness. He's like, there you are. 10 credits for the drink.
And I'll put down 80 credits.
Okay.
And I'll say I'm looking for an individual name. You said Skizik, right?
Zurich.
Zurich, sorry.
Yeah.
I don't know why Skizik came to mind.
Time.
Zurich.
You see that he wipes the bar with his rag and his circle widens as it comes over and just scoops the credits down and they disappear under the counter behind him or in front of him. And he goes, I had heard that somebody was coming down to speak to the old guy. He should be down in a moment. That's his bodyguard over there, and he kind of points to the Deveronian. That's Brig.
Okay. Well then, how about you then? And I look at the other two that are with me. How about you get? And I look at I'm looking at this drink. I have a feeling that it sounds like it's fizzing, but there's nothing showing that it's fizzing. It just sounds.
It actually, when you look down at it, it looks like there's something that kind of like if the surface is here, there's like a little indentation of like something that moved under the surface. Very minor, but you can definitely tell that there's something in there.
I'll hand that over to the pilot. I go, this one's yours. I'll get something a little clearer if you don't mind, and if you can just send, or better yet, how about you give me 3 of whatever that gentleman and I point over at the bodyguard.
At Brig?
At Brig. What he's having. 2 for us and 1 to send to his table.
Sure. I'll have that right around for you then.
Cool. So we'll start walking on then. I'll start walking over.
Right as you're about to leave, the bartender reaches over and he just kind of like will put his hand on top of your hand. He's like, hey, word of advice when you're dealing with Brig, don't don't bring up the missing teeth.
His missing. Okay, sure. He says it just to me. I
Yeah,
don't tell it to the. I don't tell it to the other two.
yeah,
I'm just because he told it to me. I'm like, all right,
yeah,
whatever. I didn't think too. I'm not thinking too much of it. So
yeah. You go over, and the other two are following close behind. One of them, the pilot, is looking down at his drink, and the more he looks at it, the less he wants to drink it. Like you can see that there's dread that has washed over his face. But he catches you kind of looking at him, and he just smiles at you, just kind of holds it up, and mmm.
yeah, yeah. But drink it before it gets warm
Uh,
or cold or
uh,
whatever it is that
uh,
makes it
uh,
the opposite of what he gave.
uh,
It felt kind of warm when he
yeah,
he gave it to me. I'm like, all
I'll wait until everybody has a drink. Don't worry, I'm okay. I'll wait.
right. Just keep walking.
Yeah. Uh, and you'll see Brig kind of look up at the three of you, more at you than anybody else, and he just kind of grins, and you'll see that he is in fact got one sharp, like shark tooth right here, just off center, a blank spot where you would imagine three more would be, and then two, another blank spot, a little blank spot for one missing tooth, and then just the rest of his shark teeth. And the bottom, man, there is no rhyme or reason to why they're missing, but there's easily a space between each tooth and what should be there. And as he's about to say something, you see a motion for you to join him. A blaster shot rings out from the doorway, and Kenny, my last question for you, Bear.
As you're getting shot at.
As you guys are entering a gunfight, like I said before we started, the first and last question are always going to be the same, and then the order of the other ones will change depending on how I'm feeling the conversation going. So, the last question for tonight: did you have fun throughout your experience with me today? And do you think this is a game that you would want to play in the future at some point? And be honest. Do not
I will go on the record and
blow
say
smoke.
this is horrible. 1 star, would not recommend. No,
Perfect.
no. Honestly, I always even I will say that in general, like Star Wars has always been it's always been interested because of the lore more than the actual role playing game, the TTRPG. Because I didn't understand the system up until today, up until recently. So but the fact that it's lore enriched is something that I would for sure want to do. And in fact, because anytime I make a character and if I put in the effort for something like this, I'm already wanting to see where this goes with this character. So yeah, I for sure would want to actually be a part of this, and it using Radiku as
Rudy?
as a yeah, like because the thing is the Rudy, yeah, because um I don't know why I thought of Rufio and then it went from Rufio to Radicchio, and then that's why I went to
Sure.
Rudiku. So, but yeah, I would love to play this character again. And yeah, the way I look at it is that um this from what I looked at, since it's a pool system and it uses D6,
Mhm.
it's very I can see how easy it is to um I can see how easy it is to get into this game, especially for people that don't have accessibility to the resources. Like if they play in real, like in in oh my god, in front of each other, like in
Mm.
person,
Yeah.
that have six-sided dice is probably the easiest thing to get because you probably have already had that in your home.
The,
Um,
the the
but
number of Monopoly games that we fucking scoured to get dice for this game. Yeah, yeah.
No, man, it is like right now. It's crazy because I'm looking at my dice goblin bag that
Hmm.
I have, and I have a section where it's just D6s. So I have the Alien RPG D6s. I also have the D6s that are normally used for like Warhammer 40K,
Hmm.
right? The small D6, those small like tan D6s that they give you. I have a bunch of those, and then D6s that I've collected from different sets because you know yeah, it's just always that's usually the most common. Now, obviously, the D20 is the most common in like in my circles, but yeah, D6 has always been the first.
I have two dice pouches on my desk. One is for D10s because Legend of the Five Rings and anything White Wolf. The other one is for D6s, and it's this little thing that Junie Von Esch made for me on her channel. And right now it has the Candela Oscura dice in it.
Oh,
Uh,
nice.
but yeah, it's my little angry teacup,
Your
tea
angry
mug,
teacup.
tea mug.
No, and in fact, and I know I'm trying to remember what her character is in Vampire the Masquerade, but I've gotten my specialty dice. I have those D10 sets
Mm.
for my character, which is the Erickson Wood, which is still my most frustrating, but is also one of my most fun to play. I don't know. I get so frustrated with him as my actions. I'm like, bro, why are you this person? Why are you this way?
He's had a rough life, man. You can't hate on him.
Yeah, man. A state senator, former state senator,
Yeah,
turned turned
yeah.
vampire.
Uh, but was this a difficult character creation, do you think? Or is this something that can be easily grasped by people?
I will say that having the templates
Hmm.
there makes it really easy for new players to jump in, especially when you just say, "Hey, what type of character were you looking to do? Did you want to be a Jedi? Did you want to be an outlaw,
Hmm.
mercenary, what have you?" Cool. We'll just use this template as a way to as a base off point, and then once you've gotten comfortable in the system, then go ahead and create it. And that works both ways for whoever the storyteller is, especially if they're new to it, or new people, new kids, and new kids, adults in general that are playing it. I would say this would be an interesting. I would like to go through this more in depth, but I think this would be interesting for a new player, for sure.
Okay. And with that, I want to thank you for being a part of this, for being our inaugural guest for this new stream.
It is an
It's a good word, $10 word. Uh, for this, what I hope is going to be an interesting ride. I got a lot of interesting games lined up, a lot of interesting guests, and as always, I wanna let you plug whatever you're into. I know that your band is gonna be playing a live gig soon, so tell the people where they can find you if you want to be found on the internet.
I mean, you can find me as Mr. Underscore with the underscore in between each word on any social media. If you want to listen to the music that I've been playing, because I'm actually a drummer, been a drummer now for over 20 years.
Hmm.
No, wow, even more so. For about 20 years that in a current project called Black Cat here in Miami. You can find us on Spotify. We're actually working on more music now for our next show. We're hopefully to have 3 more songs up by then. Uh, and yeah, the next show would be the day after my birthday. So it's like a birthday celebration. So why not?
Oh yeah,
Um, and but yeah, either that or you can always find me as being a bird, a goblin, a vampire, a monkey. I've been a monkey on occasion. Pretty much here at the Ravnos Archon channel, if they have me.
yeah, yeah. I will say that every time that I've been getting a lot more Drumeo videos popping up, and every time that I see one, I'm just like, I wonder if Kenny can do that. I wonder.
It's crazy. It's crazy because that's how I learn how to play is listening to it.
Mm.
I can't read sheet music for the life of me. If you give me sheet music, I'll just stare at it and go, okay. But yeah,
Cool.
I love seeing those things. It's only because it's just you can give somebody the same song and they can change the and dr- drumming is the base to the basis of any song to the point that how the drums are being played is how it changes the way the song is.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah,
but yeah,
100%. But yeah, man, thank you for being a part of this. Thank you to the audience for coming along with us. I hope that you guys had a lot of good
thank you.
fun and that you got introduced to a new system. As always, we take mental health on the channel very seriously. So please know that if you're watching live, there are phone numbers going up in our chat that you can get, so you can get the help that you need. If you're not in the United States, or because of the bullshit going on in our administration, it gets defunded, you can always go to findahelpline.com to find the resources in your area, because there are people out there who want to help you, and taking that first step is going to be the hardest. And in case you didn't know where I stand on things, fuck Donald Trump, fuck RFK, protect the dolls, fuck Israel, free Palestine. Um, Trans rights are human rights. Black Lives Matter. And I always feel like I forget something, man. But as
I mean, if you
always,
always forget something, just say fuck Donald Trump. That
fuck Donald.
usually rounds it
Yeah,
back
fuck
up.
Donald Trump. Just and
usually rounds,
bookend. It's
usually rounds it back
bookended.
up.
It's super simple.
There you go.
Bookend it. But take care of yourselves. Be safe out there. Shit. Just because shit has gotten quiet doesn't mean that it is done. So
Mhm.
be mindful of your surroundings. Be safe, and we will see you when we see you. Have a good night, everybody. Bye.